Hello everybody, this is Gregory with Permanent Weight Loss Made Easy, where there should be no hesitancy in your weight loss and weight maintenance. Today we're going to continue the series on ultra-processed foods and talk about the instant meal aisle. Now before we begin, if you need help with weight loss, contact me through the Clarity FM link found here in the episode notes. Also check out my books, which you can find on Amazon, my podcast, The Awakened Man, which is very health related, health topics, been around since 2017, as well as the Cinema Rag, which is about movies. And also check out my website, which has hundreds of articles and recipes that might help you. And lastly, if you appreciate my content, there's a link for PayPal. All right, so definitely go back to the other episodes on ultra-processed foods. This is the main culprit why we have 70 to 80% obesity, is these foods are just high in calories and low in nutrition, and they put additives in them that make them more addictive to eat. So today we're going to look at the aisle. We've already done cookies and candies and chips and cereals and the frozen foods. We're going to look at an aisle that necessarily is not, I would not say classically defined as ultra-processed foods, but it's an aisle that has problems. And this is going to be the instant meal items. So what do I mean by this? They're not necessarily instant meals, but this is going to be like the rice-a-roni aisle, the instant mashed potato aisle, the instant pasta-roni aisle, and we can include pasta in this one as well. So this is the aisle that I'm talking about. So let's look at pasta. Pasta is processed, and clearly it doesn't come straight from the wheat. It comes from semolina wheat, and then they put it into like a dough, and then they feed it through the things that make it the different shapes. So again, it's from flour. So flour is at the nutrient part of wheat. And yeah, I mean, they've done things to pasta to make it more nutritious, like they've added protein to it. You can buy kind of the protein fortified pasta. And so, yeah, that's definitely a better option. I would, again, tell you that most Americans are already eating too much protein, and when you have excessive protein, it turns into sugar based through gluconeogenesis. So just be careful if you're eating a lot of pasta in that regard. But it is processed. It is a processed food. But it's not as insidious as what we've talked about with the donuts and the cereals and the chips and so forth. Then you got the problems with like the rice-a-roni, for example, is that rice-a-roni, rice is natural, but the flavored packets they put with it, and you see this with pasta-roni, you see this with hamburger helper, you see this with even flavored couscous, if you like couscous, is that they have monosodium glutamate, because that's the thing that makes it have the flavor. So if you buy like rice-a-roni that's broccoli cheese, or rice-a-roni that is spicy Cajun flavored, or rice-a-roni that's bean broth flavored, again, they're not actually putting those ingredients in there necessarily. They're putting in flavor enhancers that not only mimic the flavor, but they're also known to be like neurotoxic. So monosodium glutamate is an excitotoxin. It's defined as an excitotoxin, which means it overstimulates your neurons to the point where they just blow up. Not to mention MSG has been shown to be an obesogen as well. But they put MSGs in a lot of things. They put them in the canned pasta, they put them in chips, they put them in anything that needs to be flavor enhanced. So just be aware of that. Speaking of mashed potatoes, again, they come from potatoes, but a lot of the Insta products where they're just powdered already, again, that's fake, right? They've already done most of the work for you, so all you do is pour in water and all those things. So you have to be careful with those as well, because they just don't have as much nutrients. If you want to do potatoes, as a whole, potatoes don't have a lot of nutrients, do sweet potatoes, but I would say as a whole I would stay away from kind of the potatoes in general, because they just don't have a lot of nutrition. And if you look, the number one vegetable in terms of consumption in America is not broccoli, it's not spinach, it's potatoes, because of French fries. As we're in the aisle with these kind of things, you're going to see soups on the other side. So as a whole, soups do tend to have natural stuff in it. So you can get like a lentil soup, you can get a green pea soup, you can get these things that are actually vegetables or things found in nature. You can also find horrifically bad soups like cheese soup, clam chowder soup, these things that don't have a lot of nutrition. And again, it's the same problem with that. So if you're a big soup person, and we've talked about it on the episode Do's and Don'ts of Soups, try to get one that's organic, because remember, the lining of cans are lined with BPA, but even those that are say BPA free, they have to put some sort of liner in it to help seal it. So it's just going to be bisphenol S. So the best thing to do when you want soups is just make your own soups, even though they take longer, but that's why we have crock pots. But I always stay away from the soups. But if you're going to consume the soups, do the ones that are vegetable based. Just understand they have a lot of sodium, but you can get low sodium. And then when it comes to like canned pasta, like we talked about with Chef Boyardee, stuff like that, again, you're looking at a lot of MSGs, you're looking at like a lot of preservatives they shoot into that. And in terms of it really truly being an ultra processed food, you're looking at lots of times processed fake meat that they put in, like the Chef Boyardee raviolis. It's not like it's high quality beef. And then you're looking at the pasta, the tomato sauce is loaded with sugar and preservatives, there's food dyes in there. So again, like this is what you get from middle aisle grocery store food, because they don't make these foods for you, they make these foods for them because they're foods that don't age. You know, they're shot up with so many preservatives, cereals, candies, all these things are made so they don't have to make more of them. See, they don't make a lot of profit from fresh foods because fresh foods get bad quickly. They make a lot of money from these middle aisle stuff. So in this aisle, soups, again, we should be prepping. So for example, it's okay to have like tons of soups in your pantry just in case the grocery stores go out of business for some apocalyptic reason. You're going to have these things. But we need to be wary day in, day out of the packaged pasta, the canned ravioli, the canned microwave macaroni and cheese. We need to be wary of these because even though they're not as insidious as candies and as cereals, they do have a lot of bad ingredients, and they are typically shot up with a lot of flavor enhancers that make the food addictive because it benefits them if you get addicted to their food. So these aren't the most nutrient dense of the foods. So in closing, for ultra processed foods, try to adhere to a paleo-esque diet. So try to adhere, this is why they put them on different sides at the grocery store. Try to adhere to the meat and the vegetables, fresh foods that we can metabolize readily that aren't shot up with as many problems. Now, we talked about in the past how dairy is shot up with a lot of stuff, our meats are shot up with a lot of stuff, but at least you're getting nutrition from vegetables and from meats. The middle aisle grocery store stuff is high in calories and low nutrition. As a whole, you should try to limit these things. Guys, post in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Until next time, take care, God bless, and pray.